One fateful night, her family's legacy was stolen in flames, but now, she's returned for vengeance. In a land of secrets and shadows, Ayanda will stop at nothing to reclaim what's hers. Will justice be served? Subscribe, like, and hold tight. This is a journey of revenge, resilience, and redemption that will keep you on edge to the very end. In the village of Mzansi, nestled in the breathtaking mountains and plains of South Africa, Ayanda Kumalo grew up with a deep love for her family, her community, and the land her ancestors had cultivated for generations. The Kumalos were revered in Mzansi. Her father, Baba Themba Kumalo, was a wise, strong man who instilled in Ayanda the values of compassion, honesty, and respect for the land. He believed that the land was a sacred gift from their ancestors, a legacy meant to be shared with the entire village. Ayanda's mother, Mama Lindiwe, was a healer, known for her gentle touch and endless patience. She used herbs and ancient remedies passed down through generations to heal the sick, never asking for more than people could afford. Together, Baba Themba and Mama Lindiwe embodied everything good in Mzansi, treating every villager as family. The land they owned was the most fertile in the region, producing bountiful harvests that they shared generously with everyone in need. Ayanda dreamed of one day taking over the family's farm, expanding it to feed even more people. She spent her days helping her parents with the work, learning the ways of the soil, the rhythms of the seasons, and the wisdom that came from generations of cultivating the land. She was loved by everyone, and she loved her village and its people with all her heart. By her side was her childhood friend, Sifo Dlamini. Sifo was kind, hard-working, and shared Ayanda's dreams of a prosperous, united community. Though he came from a poor family, his heart was rich with ambition, and his loyalty to Ayanda was unwavering. But peace and prosperity often attract envy. And there was one man in the village who saw Ayanda's family not as a blessing but as a barrier to his own ambitions. Chief Zuberi Maseko was a wealthy, ruthless man who controlled much of the land in the surrounding area. Though he projected an image of respectability and charm, his power was built on manipulation and greed. For years, Chief Maseko had watched the Kumalos' land with covetous eyes. He believed that such fertile land should belong to him, and had tried countless times to persuade Baba Themba to sell it. But Baba Themba always refused. To him, the land was priceless, a legacy that no amount of money could buy. Frustrated by Baba Themba's resistance, Chief Maseko began to plot in secret. He knew that he could never win the people's hearts the way the Kumalos had, but he also knew that his influence and wealth gave him power that went far beyond charm. And so, he devised a plan to rid himself of the Kumalos once and for all, to claim their land and erase their legacy. One dark, moonless night, Maseko's plan was set into motion. Ayanda awoke to the smell of smoke and the sound of crackling flames. Disoriented, she stumbled to her window, only to see her home engulfed in a raging fire. The flames danced furiously, consuming the wooden structure, and Ayanda's heart filled with terror as she heard her parents' desperate cries. She ran outside, calling for help, but the fire was too fierce, too overwhelming. The villagers gathered, but their efforts to control the flames were futile. As Ayanda watched, her home and everything she had ever known was reduced to ash. When the fire finally died down, Ayanda was left kneeling in the dirt, her face streaked with tears as she stared at the smoldering remains of her family's legacy. In the aftermath of the fire, Chief Maseko arrived, feigning sympathy as he comforted Ayanda. But his words of consolation felt hollow, his eyes cold and calculating. Ayanda felt a chill run down her spine as he announced that her father had owed him a substantial debt, a debt that would be paid by seizing the Kumalos' land. Ayanda knew her father would never have borrowed money from a man like Maseko. But with her parents gone, and no proof to dispute Maseko's claim, she was powerless. The villagers murmured in dismay, but no one dared challenge the chief's authority. Within days, Ayanda's family's land, the very soul of her heritage, was taken from her, and she was left with nothing. Heartbroken and betrayed, Ayanda left Mzansi, wandering from village to village, surviving on the edges of society. The grief and loss weighed on her, but as the months passed, her pain began to transform. Her sorrow hardened into anger, and that anger became a fierce resolve. She swore that one day she would return to Mzansi, stronger and wiser, and reclaim everything that had been stolen from her. She vowed to bring justice to her family's memory, to make Chief Maseko pay for his crimes. During her journey, Ayanda encountered Gogo Mbali, an elderly healer known across the land for her wisdom and knowledge of ancient traditions. Gogo Mbali sensed the pain and anger simmering within Ayanda and offered her refuge. Over time, Ayanda grew close to the wise old woman, who taught her the arts of healing, survival, and resilience. Gogo Mbali trained Ayanda in the ways of herbal medicine, teaching her how to craft remedies and poisons alike. But Gogo Mbali's lessons went beyond the physical. She taught Ayanda patience, the importance of strategy, and the strength found in silence and observation. She showed Ayanda how to draw power from the land and respect the spirits of her ancestors. Slowly, Ayanda transformed, her once gentle heart tempered into a blade of steel. As she trained, Ayanda learned more about Chief Maseko's ruthless rise to power, hearing stories from people in neighboring villages who had also been wronged by him. With each tale, her resolve deepened, her hatred sharpened. She knew that when she returned, she would need to be cunning, to gather allies and move carefully. She was no longer the innocent girl who had been forced to flee her home. She was a warrior, a force to be reckoned with, and she was ready. After years of preparation, Ayanda returned to Mzansi, her spirit unbreakable and her mind sharpened by Gogo Mbali's teachings. She concealed her identity at first, observing from the shadows, learning the lay of the land and the dynamics of power in the village. Mzansi had changed under Maseko's rule. The villagers seemed subdued, fearful, their spirits crushed by years of living under his control. As she reacquainted herself with her village, Ayanda sought out her old friend in love, Sifo. Sifo had also suffered under Maseko's reign, though in silence. When they met again, he was stunned to see her, changed yet familiar. Her eyes filled with a fierceness he had never seen before. Their reunion was bittersweet, tinged with the pain of loss, but also a rekindled hope. Ayanda confided in Sifo, sharing her plan to bring down Maseko, and Sifo pledged his loyalty, vowing to stand by her side no matter the cost. Together they devised a plan, one that would dismantle Maseko's power from within. Ayanda began by spreading rumors of a curse, whispering that the spirits of her parents haunted Maseko for his betrayal. Mzansi was a deeply spiritual place, and the rumors spread quickly, seeding fear and doubt in the hearts of the villagers and, eventually, in Maseko himself. Meanwhile, Ayanda used her knowledge of herbs and poisons to weaken Maseko gradually. She managed to infiltrate his household, slipping small doses into his food and drink. Slowly, he grew weaker, his once robust frame shrinking, his mind becoming fogged with paranoia. His authority began to slip, and the villagers, emboldened by his apparent vulnerability, began to question his rule. Ayanda also worked to build alliances within the village. She sought out those who had been hurt by Maseko's greed, rekindling the spirit of unity that her parents had once fostered. One by one, the villagers began to remember the values that the kumalos had stood for: honesty, generosity, and justice. They rallied around Ayanda, ready to support her in her quest to restore. As Ayanda's plan progressed, she discovered a painful truth that shook her to her core. During one of her secret meetings with a former servant of Maseko's household, the man revealed a devastating secret. Her parents' deaths had not been the tragic accident everyone believed. It had been a calculated act, an order given by Chief Maseko himself. The fire was meant to silence them forever, to prevent them from standing in the way of his insatiable ambition. The revelation ignited a deeper fury in Ayanda's heart. The mission to reclaim her family's land was now no longer just about land or legacy. It was about avenging her parents, about righting the unforgivable wrong Maseko had committed. The fire that had destroyed her home now burned in her soul, fueling her determination to see Maseko brought to justice in the most public, irreversible way. With this new information, Ayanda knew that the time for subtlety was over. It was time to confront Maseko directly and reveal his dark secrets to the entire village. She called a meeting with her allies, including Sifo, and together they planned a final, decisive move that would expose Maseko's cruelty and deceit to everyone. On the night of the full moon, under the watchful gaze of the ancestors, Ayanda summoned the villagers to the town square. News of the gathering spread quickly, and soon everyone in Mzansi had gathered, murmuring with curiosity and anticipation. They could feel the tension in the air, the sense that something significant was about to happen. Ayanda stood at the center of the crowd, dressed in the traditional robes of her family, a symbol of the legacy that Maseko had tried to erase. As the villagers waited, Chief Maseko arrived, flanked by his remaining guards. His face was gaunt, his posture frail. The man who had once radiated power now looked like a shell of his former self, worn down by Ayanda's carefully orchestrated torment. But he still tried to maintain his authority, barking orders and glaring at the villagers who dared to defy him by attending the gathering. Ayanda stepped forward, her gaze unflinching as she met Maseko's eyes. "Tonight," she began, her voice clear and strong, "we gather here to confront the truth, a truth that has been hidden from us for too long. Chief Maseko," she continued, her tone laced with controlled fury, "stands before us as a man of wealth and influence, but beneath that, he is nothing more than a liar, a thief, and a murderer." Gasps rippled through the crowd, and Maseko's face contorted with rage. He scoffed, trying to dismiss her accusations as the ravings of a bitter girl. "This is nonsense," he shouted. "Her family owed me, and she's trying to twist the story because she cannot accept her fate." But Ayanda was prepared. She held up documents that she had painstakingly gathered over the years, proof of Maseko's lies and fabricated debts. She presented a witness, the very servant who had overheard Maseko's orders to burn down her family's home. The servant stepped forward, his voice trembling but resolute, as he recounted the night he had heard Maseko plotting to eliminate the kumalos to claim their land. The crowd was silent, hanging on to every word. The elders of the village, who had known and respected Ayanda's parents, looked on with horror as the truth sank in. Finally, one of the elders stepped forward, his voice thick with emotion. "Chief Maseko, you have betrayed us all. The kumalos were the heart of this village, and you destroyed them for your own greed." The villagers, once fearful of Maseko, now turned against him. Years of suppressed anger and resentment surfaced, and they demanded justice for all the lives he had ruined. Even his guards, sensing the tide had turned, abandoned him, stepping away as the crowd pressed forward. Cornered and desperate, Maseko fell to his knees, pleading for mercy. But Ayanda's gaze was unwavering, her face set in a look of cold determination. She remembered her parents' faces, their voices, their laughter, and the night she lost them forever. She felt the weight of their memory, of their legacy, and knew that she could not let Masako go unpunished. The elders who held authority in the village declared their judgment. For your crimes of greed, betrayal, and murder, you are hereby stripped of your lands, your wealth, and your title. You are banished from Mzansi, left to live as an outcast, with nothing but the shame of your actions to keep you company. Masako's cries echoed through the night as the villagers led him away, ensuring he would never return to Mzansi. The man who had once wielded power over them now left the village, broken and alone, condemned to a life of exile. With Masako gone, Ayanda reclaimed her family's land, and a new chapter began for Mzansi. The villagers, grateful for Ayanda's bravery, looked to her as a leader, a symbol of resilience and justice. She dedicated herself to rebuilding the farm, working tirelessly to restore the land her parents had cherished. Saifo remained by her side, his loyalty unshaken, and together they rebuilt not only the farm, but the spirit of the village. They planted crops, established schools, and created resources that would allow Mzansi to thrive independently. Their love, once tender and innocent, blossomed into a powerful partnership built on shared dreams and mutual respect. In honor of her parents, Ayanda set up a memorial on the land, a place where the villagers could come to remember the kumalos and the legacy they had left behind. Every season, the villagers gathered at the memorial to celebrate the harvest, a tradition that Ayanda had revived to keep her family's memory alive. As the years passed, Gogo Mbali visited Ayanda, proud of the woman her pupil had become. She saw in Ayanda a leader who had not only reclaimed her family's land, but had also restored the spirit of the community. The elder knew that Ayanda's story would inspire generations to come, a tale of resilience, courage, and the power of justice. Ayanda's journey was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a story of loss transformed into purpose, of betrayal overcome by justice. She had faced unimaginable pain and emerged stronger, her heart filled not with vengeance but with the determination to honor her family and build a better future for her village. In Mzansi, Ayanda's name became a symbol, a reminder that no darkness is too deep to overcome, no wrong too great to be righted. The people of the village flourished under her guidance, united by the values she upheld: honesty, compassion, and the unwavering belief that justice would always prevail. As Ayanda walked the land that her ancestors had tended, she felt their presence, their voices whispering in the wind, guiding her every step. She knew that her parents' spirits were at peace, their legacy preserved in the hands of the daughter who had fought so fiercely to protect it. If Ayanda's journey moved you, remember to like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't miss out on more inspiring stories of courage, resilience, and justice. Join us next time for another tale that will touch your heart and remind you of the power within all of us to overcome any obstacle.